This is exactly what it says on the packet. Would you ever consider handing this over to your child, to your toddler? Absolutely not. Not in your wildest of your dreams. But it is shocking and startling that many parents are exactly doing that. They are handing over their children a highly addictive drug. It is damaging to their brain. Yes, I'm talking about our smart screens, our tablets, and our game consoles. These are highly addictive as any other drugs, but parents are happy to use them as babysitters, as electronic babysitters. The sight of a toddler scratching on his tab or an iPhone is common nowadays. I cringe when I see that. According to some researchers, 92% of under 1-year-old have already used a mobile device before they reach 1 year. Some even starting as early as 4 months. It is shocking and scandalous, isn't it? I'm lucky enough to know an expert working at Harley Street Hospital as a pediatrician. I consult him on a regular basis. He shared with me many tragic stories of extreme screen addiction, as they call it, electronic screen syndrome or toxic screen syndrome. One such story shared with me was that of a fellow pediatrician's son. The mother was a consultant, the father was a pediatrician at Harley Street. This child, 3 years old, was misdiagnosed as having autism. In fact, he had extreme screen addiction. It was a tragedy. I thought to myself, if this could happen to a pediatrician child, how about ordinary parents? There are many cases of misdiagnosis or undiagnosis. Some of the children are being misdiagnosed as having ADHD or autistic spectrum, and their childhood is being ruined. He shared with me another story that happened to a child in Sri Lanka who had a severe screen addiction, having withdrawal symptoms and fits as well. The parents brought this child to him asking for a prescription. You might know in some countries, especially in Southeast Asia, when you go to the doctor, you have to come out with a prescription like this. If you don't get a prescription, the patient thinks that the doctor is not taking my illness seriously. How can he prescribe something for screen addiction? But the doctor still wrote something. Guess what he wrote? He wrote on the prescription sheet, hammer. And he told the patient, you can't get this medication at the pharmacy, please take it to a hardware shop. The father asked, doctor, you wrote hammer? Why hammer? The doctor answered, yes, I wrote a hammer. Buy a hammer from the hardware shop and go home and smash up all the screens there. The dad said, doctor, I'll exactly do that. You know why? It caused devastation to my son and ruined my family life. It's a serious issue facing many parents across the globe. Experts unanimously agree it is causing severe damage to growing children's brain. The advice coming from across the Atlantic, from American Academy of Pediatrics and Canadian Society of Pediatrics, they state under 2 years old infants shouldn't be exposed to any sort of technology at all. But there is nothing in the UK. Many Western countries like Canada, Australia, they provide guidelines for parents. A psychologist from the UK, Eric Sigman, reviewed all the evidence in a journal called Archives of Diseases in Childhood, and he came to the conclusion that the first 3 years of a child is really critical for the brain development. Therefore, the UK government should issue some sort of guidelines to severely restrict or ban the screens for under 3-year-olds. But some parents dispute his conclusion. Professor Dorothy Bishop, a professor of developmental neuropsychology at the University of Oxford, cushions his research, his credential. She says this wasn't an original research. It is highly speculative to ban the screen outright. As I was preparing for the speech, I came across an article on Reader's Digest magazine written by a parent and a journalist, Oli Mann. He argues, the title was why I am watching CBBS. So it attracted my attention. When I glanced it, he argues this advice coming from American Academy of Pediatrics is related to American television. The American television is full of, American children television is full of different colors, neon colors, different advertisement for various theme parks and soundtracks. Let alone children, no adult should be exposed to that kind of television, he argues. Having looked through the evidence, it is clear this is a serious issue. Dr. Victoria Dunkley, she dedicated her book, Reset to a Child's Mind, to the subject, to this hot subject. And she argues the first 18 months of the child is really critical, so there shouldn't be any screen time. I have looked through the evidence and I came to the conclusion from my personal experience as well as a father, these screens are causing severe damage to children. But banning them outrightly is not a solution. It is an extreme measure itself. Therefore, with parents' discretion and parents' careful approach with the time and the contents, we can limit and we can eliminate children's screen addiction.